We got a book review. We got In the Shadow of a Broken Spire by Flora. And man, look at that cover. Like god tier cover. Like seriously, one of my favorite covers of all time. But also, this is one of my favorite books I think I've ever read. This is an all-timer I'll be talking about forever. This is required reading right here for any horror reader. This follows many different POVs, but we are set in the town of Blair, New York. We are split in two timelines. It is primarily set in modern day, but we also jump to 1793. In that timeline, it follows Grace, who has been accused of being a witch after having an affair with Nathaniel, who's like a very high up, powerful person in the town. And when his son falls ill, there's a bit of a collision there, and things don't go well for Grace. You know, typical Salem witch trials type thing. And fast forward 200 something years later, the town has a murder. A high school student was found dead by one of the teachers, Stu Reinhardt, and things start to build up. And Stu starts to look into the town's history because he just needs something to kind of cope with like everything that's happening. And he has this deep, deep sense of dread, and he starts to see there's some similarities here, some differences, but there's some stuff that's kind of a little too similar that's happening. And as an eclipse is on the rise, it just feels like an ominous sign for bad shit to happen. And man, bad shit happens in this. In a way, it's a bit of a slow burn, but the chapters are so short, it really flies by, and it's not that long of a book, too, but also, like, I don't know, it's just, like, perfectly paced, where it's a slow burn, but you don't feel that it's a slow burn. The characters are fantastic. This is, like, masterclass character work right here. Stu's great. You get so many other POVs. You get POVs of some of the high school students, Calvin and JC. They're excellent characters. I love those characters so much. And there's just like great antagonists in here. There's just so much jam packed into these characters, especially with the shorter chapters. So it's like the writing is so concise while still feeling like there's so much history to this town and history to these people's lives. And that's just because the writing is fucking great. It's so good. And the way he pitched this novel to people when he was marketing it is it's Hex by Thomas Oldhovelt, Salem's Lot, Stephen King, and 30 Days a Night. And yes, this is a witch story, but also a vampire story. His take on vampires is so unique and fresh, and it has a lot of the hallmarks you might expect, but also not so much too. And so there's some creative takes he has, not just we're not gonna ruin those little surprises there, but he has some really fresh ideas. The feeling of this book. It is nonstop dread throughout the entire thing, regardless of timeline that you're in. There's just a sense of dread of something bad is happening or going to happen. It is just this nonstop feeling and this build up, and things are getting worse and worse. And it's just like, oh man, we have no control of this. Everything's out of control. Things are going to get real bad. And thematically, I think what he explores here regarding fear and panic, and also people manipulating other people into believing things and othering people and looking at outsiders and spreading fear. It's something we are seeing constantly in history, but also I think it's like really going on right now more than it has in recent years, or you know, in a more contagious and a more severe way. And I think Ed really taps into that in a really unique and interesting way that's really compelling. And I think it's also why I feel like this is an important book to read, because you're seeing kind of like it kind of takes you outside of that and it's like, hey, this is like what's happening. Like, this is kind of like how fear spreads and how people in a powerful position or influential position is going to really manipulate people for their own ulterior motives. In the Shadow of a Broken Spire is brilliant. It's a masterclass in writing and a absolute must read for any horror reader. I can't recommend this book enough. I will be talking about this book for the rest of my life. It is that fucking good. That's how much I loved it. I need to read more of Ed's work. Have you read other Ed Flora books? Have you read this book? Are you reading it? Let me know in the comments. You can pre-order my own book, Unfold, which releases in December. It's a slow burn workplace drama meets creature feature. And you can subscribe to my Substack, which I post on every Sunday.